Hey everybody, welcome to the lab with Kel and Cody. This is episode 27, I think.
27. Yes.
Um, I wonder
Possibly.
if I wonder if we're gonna get better at that at some point, like, or if we're just gonna have that question mark at the end of every episode.
27? I mean, I can imagine as the numbers go up, the harder it's going to get to
Uh-huh.
remember what episode it is. Especially when we, get into those triple digits, 100
Hell
and
yeah.
123, 150, people are like, oh my God, really? Do we need that many episodes? But yes, we do.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
you're gonna
fine.
get them whether you need them or not.
Yeah, you can listen or you cannot listen. The choice is yours, but we're gonna keep making them.
Hell yeah. So how you
So,
doing today, Cody?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I'm a little out of sorts because last week was just a way different week than I am used to. I was in San Francisco for the majority of the time. San Francisco is a city where you can get your penis scoped and also see a concert all in 1 week, so that's pretty great. Lots of entertainment and naps with anesthesia. So, I can't complain.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you do anything fun while you're there? Well, I guess you went to your concert. Was that a good time?
yeah, so that was good. It was a really good concert. It was very chill, and it was at the Fillmore in San Francisco. And I had never been to that venue before, but it's pretty it's a small venue, it's a small band. That's the kind of bands I really enjoy because it is chill and it's cheap, right? Always,
That's
it's
true.
good music. And it's like the type of bands that you see before they get big, and so you can look back and be like, I remember I paid like $30, $40 to see them, and now they're like, huge. But I don't know if that'll happen with this one, but they're really good. And so we got to sit up in this little balcony because we're old people. But no, just kidding. They had like open, just unreserved seating up at the top. We had like floor tickets, but they don't reserve those. You don't have to pay more for that. So we just like went up there and like, you guys they aren't reserved. You can sit. So we got like a balcony seat, so we didn't have to be like down in the crowd or
That's
anything.
so
And
nice.
so we got to sit. We didn't have to pay any extra. It was perfect. So yeah, that was my week. But yeah, how about you?
That's awesome. I had a pretty good week. It is finally fall here in Ohio, and I've been enjoying that. Um, my bike rides to work have been freezing, but other
I
than
bet.
that, it's been really fun, really good. Just chipping away at work. I have a couple friends in town from Idaho, so that's pretty fun. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, not a ton to report. Just kind of like one of those like grinding weeks, but everything seems to go out okay. Like
Hmm.
very
That's good.
content, I guess, with how
Nice.
things are going right now, which is
That's
nice.
good.
Yeah,
That's good to hear. I
hell yeah.
know, like last week you had some anxiety.
Yes.
How's that been for you this week? Any better? Kind of the same, or
Anxiety is a lot better. I everything seems to be falling into like a groove right now. Well, this past week, and I'm feeling great during workouts. Feeling pretty good during business time. Kind of just like, plus the weather really affects my mood. I'm not gonna lie, so
yeah,
that
same.
also really helps that it's been
Yeah,
nice out. So everything's been doing really well this week. It was good week overall.
yeah,
Anxiety's
good.
pretty low, so that's nice.
That's good. It's always a good week when anxiety is low.
I know, right? It feels so rare.
You're like, I don't know what's happening, but I like it.
I also have been like listening to the news less, which is probably also helping my mood a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, that'll do it. Yep, yep. Stay away
So
from the news.
yeah, so today we are just gonna do some Q&A and kind of just see where it takes us, or just kind of like no real topic this week. Kind of just see where our tangents and our questions take us. We have a lot of
Yeah.
new exciting guests in the pipeline that should be coming in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. But this week we're
Yes.
just gonna hop into questions. You have our first one, Cody.
Yeah, and yeah. So for anyone wondering where these questions came from, we put a little story question on Instagram. So if you ever do want us to cover something, keep an eye out for like an opportunity to ask a question through Instagram Q&A. You can DM us, you can email us, you can leave a review on Apple iTunes, podcasts, iTunes. Yeah, I'm that old. So so feel free to like always suggest or ask questions. And but yeah, we're just doing Q&A style this time because that's just the way things worked out.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, first question. Um, should I keep it to the relevant questions or should I just fire off?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions that were strange or sexy questions, so I think we're gonna
Yeah.
avoid those. Cody and I are both taken.
Okay.
Sorry, friends.
Well, I have one that's like not entirely like it's not like sexual or it's just like a life question,
Oh, we can do a
but
life question.
it
Sure.
could be kind of entertaining.
Hell yeah.
So this first question is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done.
Ever done?
Ever done.
I've done a lot of embarrassing things. Most of them I was drunk for, luckily, but so that softened the blow. But my most embarrassing recent thing is, did I talk about the Stairmaster situation on the podcast last week?
No, you told me, but you didn't talk about
Okay, so
it.
I work at the gym that I go to, and I was on the stairs after my shift, just doing my cardio like I always have, and I've told Cody in the past that I am scared of falling off the Stairmaster. It's been one of my fears since prep, and I even asked Cody, I'm like, am I okay to hang on? And I'm just like barely hanging on just to save my life in case something happens. And the answer was yes. But thank God, because this past week or the week before, the chain broke on the Stairmaster and the stairs like dropped from under me and I couldn't stand on anything. So I literally like slid down the stairs belly first and it made this huge bang, and my gym is like a second and third floor of a building, so it's very loud and very big, and it like echoed, and it was everybody, literally everybody put down their weight and looked around, and I'm like,
Oh
God, this is my worst nightmare.
Did anyone like ask if you were okay?
Yes, someone asked if I was okay. Thankfully I was hanging on so I didn't hit my head.
That's
But
good.
I did get a bruise on my stomach from the
Ouch, man.
stairs.
Like, I know you work there, but can you sue that
I
shit?
know,
Like,
right? I was so annoyed. I'm like, and it's my favorite Stairmaster, so I was double annoyed because now it's broken.
that's like I've had some. So my gym has like a ton of stairmasters. Some of them are broken, but you can't tell. And then when you step on them, there's no resistance. You just got to start running, but you don't know. It's like a Russian roulette thing. Like, is this stairmaster going to be one that supports my weight or one that throws me off? But I've never had it happen like as I was using it. So that's a new terrifying nightmare of mine. So thank you for
And it
that.
just happened at like minute 3. It wasn't immediate. So I was like, what the fuck?
That's
Because
so weird.
I thought I'm like I fucked up and like pressed the button because I usually put a towel over the display, and so I'm
Mm.
like, oh, I pressed a button because I usually put my phone up and watch TV on it, and so I got back on it, like climbed back to the top because I just thought I missed a button, and then I fell down again, and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible.
People are
So
like, man,
embarrassing.
this guy is determined. That's a
And
whole
then you
new
have to
level
like
of hard.
slink down the steps. Like, Jesus.
Well, that's some definite cardio, just trying to stand on stairs with no chain
I
that's
know.
attached to
So terrible.
them. Oh,
And it was
kudos to
loud as
you.
hell when the stairs broke. It wasn't just my fault. It
Oh,
was loud. So, ugh. All right,
that's crazy though.
let's hear your most embarrassing.
Oh man, I definitely have a few, but I don't know if I should stick to like I don't know. I feel like I always have like embarrassing social interactions, but I guess like my most embarrassing scenario is when I shit my pants when I was running uh, on the side of the road. That it will always be probably my number one because
How old were
it
you?
was I was 21, so it wasn't like I was 12. Uh, yeah, so I'm gonna try to keep this short, but I don't know how short this could be. But so if anyone didn't know, I was previously married. I grew up in a very religious household, so I was like, you know, 21, never lived outside my parents' home. You know, it's a very kind of like old school transactional thing. You live at home until you get married, and yeah, you have sex and shit because that's what you don't do outside of marriage and religion. But so I was 21 years old, and we had just gotten back from like our honeymoon thing, and I decided to go out. We had gone to Mexico, so that was probably where this came from. So I was a runner, and I was like just going out for my morning run. I didn't really think anything different was going on. Nothing. I didn't feel bad. Didn't feel off. And then probably about like 20 minutes in, my stomach started to like gurgle a little bit, and I was just kind of like, what is that? I don't know. I didn't phase me. Kept going, and then it started to like cramp, and I just stopped like on the sidewalk. I was like, I think I got to go home now. But I was still probably like a good 15-minute run away, like run away from home, not just walk. So I'm thinking like I start, jogging back, and then I'm reduced to a walk because I can't jog without shitting myself at this point. It like went from 0 to 100 real
Oh
fast.
no.
Like it escalated quickly. So I'm walking on the sidewalk on Madison Avenue, which, if you are from the Sacramento area, it's a very busy road, lots of intersections, lots of cars, people that can just see absolutely everything. So I'm walking, trying to like squeeze my shit in, and then I'm power walking until suddenly I just can't, and I just squat down, and I'm squatting down, and I just am shitting my pants because I couldn't control it. I could not control it. And so I, in my brain, am like, okay, I have two choices. I can get up and run as fast as I can with shit running down my legs back home and pretend like it never happened and hope that, I am not just embedded in others' memories of the person who was running with shit down their legs. Uh, or I can call my new spouse and have him deal with my shit. And both of those were awful scenarios, but I guess I cared less of what he thought of me than what the rest of the population did. So I called him, and he was actually about to be leaving for the Bay Area, but luckily he was home. So he came up and drove up next to me on the sidewalk. He found me, and we had to use towels we got from our as a wedding gift that happened to be in his car. So we had to lay those down on the seats, and I had to get into the car. Smelling like shit. I had a towel like wrapped around me, and it was like a 5-minute drive home. But like, I was so embarrassed. Like, we were married for not even a week, and I had already shit my pants, and he was probably thinking like, I need a receipt. Like, do I have the receipt for this? This is, and it just got worse from there. That was probably the most normal thing I ever did with him in that marriage. So sorry to him. But yeah, I definitely shit my pants running, and
That's
he probably
hilarious.
never looked at me the same. I wouldn't
Yeah,
look at me the same.
that's really funny.
Yep.
Was it a
So that's
silent car
mine.
ride home?
I think he was laughing a little bit.
Oh, well, that's good at least. There's something to break the silence.
Yeah,
I
and
think it'd have been
so
more awkward if you were just sitting there
yeah,
silently with
no,
shit
yeah,
pants.
he was pretty kind about it. I will say he was not like weird. He was just laughing, kind of like, I think you should stay home. So yeah, that was fun. I haven't done that since, but I definitely will always have that anxiety if my
Oh
stomach
god, that's really
gurgles.
funny. No kidding. Shit. Literally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
should we move on to the next
Yes, what is our
question?
next question?
Okay, so now we've gone from embarrassing moments. We will go to the next question, which I find kind of interesting. I I don't know. It's not something that I've like really thought of or heard of previously to this question, but I figured we can kind of give our thoughts on it. And so the question is the fitness slash bodybuilding to alt right pipeline online. And at first I was kind of confused about like what that meant. And I think like, my thought, I can kind of understand where that thought might have come from, but Yeah. What do you think, Cal?
I think it's complicated. So I don't really see it as a pipeline per se. I think that the fitness and bodybuilding community selects just based on who is interested in those kinds of things, selects more men with like toxic masculinity issues than anything else. And and I'm sure if any people have followed me, you've heard me rant about a certain bodybuilding podcast that I had issues with before because of terms they used and like things they used. But it's more the way I kind of see it more so is that they just are people who don't understand or care to understand. They're
Yeah.
not really, I don't think they're like hate crimey. I think they are like libertarians or like people who just want to be like live and let live more so
Yeah.
than anything. But with the like just how politics and how the world is set up today, it's very much like you're either with me or you're against me, and it's so polarizing that I think sometimes it forces people to almost choose Republican side, if that makes sense, even if they're not necessarily hateful or have those views, but because
Mhm.
they're like being forced to choose something,
Yeah.
they go that direction. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah. I mean, it does to me, but
yeah,
it's
I
kind of
think
like
yeah.
there's
Go
no
ahead.
middle ground. Yeah.
Exactly, and I think a lot of those people, like all the bodybuilders who are like super successful that I've met or have heard and listened to, are only concerned about bodybuilding. Like they're so
Yeah.
obsessive that that's like basically their only interest,
Hmm.
and they just don't give a fuck about anything else.
It's
To
true.
be honest,
It's true.
um,
Very true. And
yeah,
I feel like the guys that do actually care, they aren't very good bodybuilders. Like, there's a reason they care. It's because they suck and they just want to like put their attention on anything else besides their own shittiness. So it's like a lot of the top bodybuilders, they don't have time to even think about, like trans issues. They're very much so live, let live because they don't have time to really care.
yeah,
um, and I think, yeah, there isn't really much room for people outside of left, right, whatever. So I feel like, sometimes people have to either are put into a category by other people or like they have to kind of go that way because there is nowhere for them to go, whatever. Um, I think I saw a lot of like stuff about vaccinations and stuff like that in the height of COVID stuff, and I think maybe that's where some of it comes from as well. But that still comes down to the live and let live. Like they like one, they want to put into their body what they want without it being illegal. Two, they don't want things forced into their body that they don't want. It's strange, like yeah, they'll put fucking steroids in their body, but they won't take a COVID vax or whatever. But um, they're just very much so like I want my independence, and that's all I care about. And so like I don't see that as being like a alt right type of scenario, essentially.
right. And I'm not saying that they're great people or great like role models even. I think they are solely dedicated to a goal, and
Yeah.
it makes them very selfish, which is not great, but that's like the path they chose. And like most, I feel like bodybuilders, especially pros, will admit how selfish it is, like, and
Oh
talk
yeah.
about how much like it affects people around them. Because like I know a lot of the especially a lot of the like bodybuilders who own gyms and stuff during COVID, they did tend to go red because they were like, I'm gonna lose everything if I have to shut down my gym, or they
Yeah.
didn't want to have to not go to the gym, and like
Mhm.
because it's their livelihood as well as like their only passion. Like they put all their
Mhm.
eggs in that one basket, and
Yeah.
like someone stripping that from them is was terrifying. And I
Yeah.
can imagine that. Like I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I think that's where their head went. And
Hmm.
like, yeah, and everybody who is saying that oh, that's selfish, yeah, fucking is. And I think they would have been
Yeah.
the first to admit. Um, and I think a lot of them are very uneducated, um, which also doesn't help the situation. So I don't think they really care to learn or understand how other people live their life or what can be offensive and not. They just don't. They just don't give a fuck, to be
Yeah.
honest.
They basically, yeah, like they don't care until they have to. Like basically, um, they start to care once it matters, right? So, say, I work with a coach who's never worked with a trans person before. They don't have any opinion on it either way, but they don't have much knowledge. But they will learn because now it does, it does matter. They have to, know a little bit or be respectful. And honestly, like, I love that aspect of things. Like, I like being kind of a bridge to people who are generally ignorant. I'm not like like I don't care as much about them making honest mistakes because I know their intentions are I can tell people's intentions and stuff. So I've never like blatantly come across like pure transphobia. Besides maybe like some coaches. I had one like not answer me once I told them that I was trans when I was thinking about working with one. Um, but that was just one scenario. Can't really confirm that that's exactly what it was, even though I have an inkling. But that's okay because I wouldn't want that person as a coach, anyways. Really. So, trying to think of like, oh, yeah, and with the bodybuilding, mental health is like anyone who bodybuilds is fucked up in some way. So like you have to think that these people are very like they're hurting inside. Like they're very self-consumed because they've got a lot of demons, and people who've got a lot of demons about will end up in bodybuilding. Like, have you ever listened to a podcast with Flex Wheeler, for example?
I've never.
Dude, that guy, like, much respect for him, but I listened to his podcast with Jay Cutler recently, and you wouldn't know fucking anything he was struggling with, but he was essentially just struggling with suicide his whole entire life. Like, he just was, bodybuilding was the only thing that he, like, didn't feel like killing himself. Like, when he was at the gym, he would be fine. As soon as he left, he was like, I was actively trying to kill myself. And so you just know that there's just like bodybuilders have a lot of issues themselves. So, uh, the selfishness or whatever, it's just because it's all inward.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I have said before with that podcast that I had an issue with, like I I always give people the benefit of the doubt if they don't understand. So like I reached out to them and like tried to do some education, and I was met with an okay response, to be honest. They're like, I didn't really think about it like that. Um, and because bodybuilders are so protective of their sport because they love it and they know they love the camaraderie, I think, amongst other bodybuilders, um, they I straight up told the guy, I'm like, I'm just not going to listen anymore. I just want you to know this is how I feel. And he's like, well, I don't want that. He's like, and it wasn't because he was going to lose one fan. It doesn't really fucking matter. But like, he's like, well, I don't want people to not feel welcome. And so it's like a weird thing where people don't want to admit they're wrong because you're also dealing with these guys who have like the biggest egos ever because of
Yeah.
all their issues. So like
Hmm.
it's just I don't I think I just don't want people to think because fitness people look scary and have egos, sometimes they're not everybody's cup of tea and they can be like dick faces to your like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like they're
Hmm.
not necessarily terrible people. It's just much more complicated than it looks. Even though they kind of seem like cavemen, and you think that they just want to be Nazis, they're not necessarily. They just are
Yeah.
usually not educated on something that doesn't affect them, and don't care
Yeah.
to be. To be
Yeah.
completely honest.
And no, yeah. And like, I feel like in my experience too, like bodybuilders are very passionate people, so you do know that they have a lot of feelings in there,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen both sides. They are very passionate in both directions. They're very passionate in all of their emotions, whether it's anger or fear or whatever. But even when they care, you can definitely tell. I feel like bodybuilders, there's this sweet and sour aspect where you get a lot of sour, but deep down that they care, and they will show you they're not as like assholey on the inside as a lot of people might expect. There are, of course, some that are
Yeah.
assholes, but there's always a soft spot. You just have to find it.
Yeah. And and again, it's we're also looking at a very thin group, a very small group of humans. And so it's like you're going to have shitty people in all aspects of every industry, every hobby mindset, right? Like there's going to be alt-right nerds. Like isn't that what the incels started as? Was just a bunch of nerds who got creepy and
Hmm.
started hating women. Like so like it's kind of in all aspects of the world, and like that kind of shit runs deep, and that toxic masculinity, even though it's such a buzzword now, is
Yeah.
real and in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically like I wouldn't really consider it a political affiliation in any ways. It's just kind of their personalities, or they just care about bodybuilding, and that's
It's
how it
one
comes
track
across.
mind.
It really is. Like you might think that they are super transphobic and they care too much about issues they are not familiar with, but they really just kind of don't. They're just like, what? Like I think the biggest argument that I see, it's usually from bodybuilders that suck or they're amateurs that aren't going anywhere, is I've gotten this many times on posts before about why is it that like we can get testosterone so easy and they can't. And it's like because we're not taking testosterone to enhance our physique. It's medically necessary. This is a difference. Just like any cis guy could get medically necessary TRT, and so they're making a very false, like, equivalent comparison there. It's like, no, it's different. That's like how I cannot get prescribed more than my body needs medically. So they have very weird, like, that's the biggest reason that I think the bodybuilding, some of the people in the bodybuilding community are confused or don't like trans people. It's because they think that we can just get hormones whenever we want and it's so easy. It's like, first of all, it's not easy. And second of all, it's not going to make us bodybuilders. It's like to live.
Yeah.
So maybe they should educate themselves on that a little bit.
Yeah. All right, what's the next question?
Next question. Let's see. Uh, it is dealing with others at the gym who may be oblivious to those around them or a busy gym.
All right. Oblivious to other people, it drives me insane, and I don't think there's really any way to deal with them.
No,
Other than
unfortunately.
tattletaling.
Yeah, yeah. Or you could
If
be
they're
like,
breaking rules and stuff.
I think I've had moments where I've like under my breath been like, really, like, or just, I don't know. Sometimes you get caught in a mood where you're like, I don't care if you visually see that I am upset about something. Not that I'm going to like confront them about anything, but it's like if I'm trying to put weights away and someone's doing dumbbell curls right in front of where I need to put my heavy ass weights, then I'm gonna be like visually upset because I'm not gonna be like, can you motherfucking move? I'm just kind of like, I will be loud so they know that I'm coming, and maybe walk away
Passive
and
aggressive.
yeah, just be like, yeah, I needed you to move there. So yeah, that's a hard one because sometimes you just got to be patient because we all got to share. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've also refused to move to like let someone hit me, like so they could become more aware. And if it's not gonna get hurt, like if it's just like a shoulder or something, I'll just like
yeah,
stay or make or else I've moved into it before, like so they hit me, so they like know that they're like if they're
yeah.
very clearly not paying attention to where their body's going,
Hmm.
that I've done that before.
Well, that's kind of like a it's like an offensive move, right?
Right.
Because then you're in control. You know that they're not going to hit you unexpectedly. So if you like lean into it before that can happen, then they usually will, be like, "Oh shit, and I didn't realize I was that close to you," and they'll back
Yeah.
off a little bit. I have had someone like I was benching and they walked by and they hit the barbell and like pulled it forward, and so I like just had to drop it on my chest. They didn't even fucking notice. They just
Jesus
kept
Christ.
walking.
I
I
would have
was
been
just like,
pissed.
"Are you for fucking real?" So yeah,
I would have said
sometimes
something
people
with
just.
that. I would have been ticked off.
It
Um,
was some old lady too.
of course it was. Of course it was.
No.
Yeah, and then like busy gym, you just kind of have to know going into it that it's going to be fucking busy and
Yeah.
have like a clear cut plan with like plan B through E.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
It's
being
like
flexible. Like, yeah, like you can try your best to stick to your order and stick to your exercise groups, but understanding the intentions of your workouts as opposed to like dotting the I's and crossing the T's when you're just trying to get in, or try to find off times that you can go,
yeah.
or find a different gym.
Yeah. All those and like yeah, just think about like if you're doing a lot of supersets in a busy gym, maybe not a good idea to do the supersets, do them one at a time, or make sure it's equipment that's close together versus all the way across the gym, or else you're just setting yourself up for someone to steal your shit or get in the way. So, or if someone asks you to work in with you, I don't generally enjoy that, but it's better than someone staring at me like waiting for me to be done,
Yes.
because that's always annoying. Then I rush. So yeah, you can always ask to work in with somebody if you're really in a rush. Generally, people don't say no, and if they do, then like, well, that's the worst that can happen, essentially. Uh, but busy gym
Yep.
is a busy gym. Yeah.
Yep. And if you ask to work in, sometimes that'll move them along quicker.
Yes, because a lot of times people are just on their phones a lot. So if you're working with them, they're not gonna be on their phone between sets, and they're just gonna it's gonna move things along a lot quicker. Uh,
Cool.
okay, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, next one is how come, how come I'm eating 3,400 calories, everything weighed, and I'm not gaining? Well, you're not in a calorie surplus. I'm just gonna say right now. Uh, in the same way that you can be inaccurate with being in a deficit if you're not gaining. Like if you're supposedly in a deficit and you're not losing weight, you're not actually in a deficit. If you're in a surplus and you're not gaining weight, you're not actually in a surplus. So you might be weighing everything, but are you recording it accurately? Are you recording absolutely everything that goes into your mouth? Like, if you're at 3,400 and you're not gaining, that could also very be just that you have a pretty fast metabolism and you need to eat more than 3,400. So that's just basically the factual reasoning behind not gaining. So you got to check to see if you need to eat. Well, you definitely need to eat more if you're not gaining.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just no other way around it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I
That's
just
pretty
jumped in and
black and
answered
white.
that one.
No, I mean that one's pretty black and white. Yeah.
I was like, wait, this one should be quick. Let's see. Next one. Do you ever experience anxiety or a panic attack after a weight training session?
I've never felt one after a session. I have felt one going in to the gym or during even, but like never after. Usually after I feel good, like happy and relieved. Like I get all my
Yeah.
happy hormones afterwards. Or like my happy chemicals.
Yeah, same. I feel like I a lot of times have anxiety going into them, and I'll even still have anxiety like even through mid workout. But once you like hit that peak, then it starts to come down, and then I always feel better after working out.
Mm-hmm.
So the after workout panic, I can't say that I could be much help there, because I usually feel better. So I'm curious. I feel like I want to know more about this. Like, can we have some
Yeah,
follow up questions?
right. We need to know. We need more information, and then like, um, is it just after workouts? Like, do you have them like on a other like what is like if you know what the triggers are, that kind of thing? Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry,
And are
friend,
you
that
doing,
sucks.
yeah, like, are you doing a bunch of pre-workout that just
Oh
happens to
yeah,
kick in after
late.
you're done?
Yeah,
Like, or maybe it just lingers so that when you're done working out, you're still hyped up and then you feel panicky. So maybe watch the caffeine intake. That's what I,
that's a good
the only
idea.
thing I can think of. But yeah, sorry. Let's see. Um, Sorry, now I'm losing my place of
Oh, you're
where I
good, man.
left off with it. Let's go. So this one isn't really a question. I don't know. It just says depression.
Depression. Depression
Depression.
sucks.
Yeah.
I've dealt with that a lot for a lot of my life. Sorry, it really is no fun. Think really trying to focus on the small wins will help the most. Um,
Mhm.
I I know that once I got a routine and like sometimes it's really hard to get into the routine when you're like down in in the depths of it. Like to just get out of bed is hard and stuff. So depending on where you're at, like if um and this is from my experience, like usually I can tell when I'm in the downward slide, like going down the hill into the deeps, and if I can really latch into a routine, that's always helped me.
Mhm.
And I know with the weather switching, as we've discussed before, the winter blues are coming for most people. And I know that's when I lean as hard as I can into my routine, because usually that helps me. Even if I don't feel good mentally, at least it gets me going.
Yeah.
And then try to get into those small goals, even if it's like silly small goals, like getting all your water in, getting all your steps in, something that you can check off. I know those help me. Even if it's just like I did all the tasks that I wanted to today and it was like get
Mhm.
out of bed and go to work or get out of
Yeah.
bed and eat
Yeah.
breakfast. You
Yeah.
don't have to overthink it. Start super, super, super small just to
Yeah.
get those
Exactly.
wins under your belt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just try not to aim too high to where, yeah, you just have to think realistically with, don't think about the things that you did out of a depressive episode and be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm not doing these things, I'm failing. I think I've made this mistake plenty of times where
Same.
I'm just like, I am not on top of my shit the way that I should be or was. What is happening? What is wrong with me? Why can't I just kick my own ass and like get back into gear? And I think that's where it's like we have to realize there are different seasons in life, and sometimes you need to dial it back and be okay with good enough versus trying to just strive for perfection and beating yourself up for not hitting the mark. Because if you just continue to make those small wins, that will build up your confidence again, and it does lift your mood to just know that you are accomplishing things still, even if it's not what you would ideally want to be doing. But I feel like this year this has been a struggle of mine more than ever in my life for whatever particular reason. So definitely just it's given yourself some grace, but also still keeping yourself accountable, because you do need to do things and get your ass up and all that in order to actually pull yourself out. So depression is one of those things where it's like it's rough because doing things feels like shit, but not doing things feels like shit. But the only thing that's gonna help you is doing things. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't know what
And
else.
try to find community in some
Yes.
way, even and in a community that you can be honest with. So
Mhm.
if it's a coach, if that's what it needs to look like, if you don't have like friends in your corner that you feel comfortable talking about it with, having a coach to just be like, look, I'm struggling mentally, um, just to let them know so they can hold you accountable, but also give you grace. A therapist,
Mhm.
or even online communities, Facebook groups, Facebook friends. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be physical people. I mean, obviously that'd be awesome, but reach out to people, humans,
Yeah,
and get some kind of
definitely.
connection.
Yeah, holding it in, it doesn't help, unfortunately. So the more you can like talk about it, therapist, coach, whatever, the more support you can get, the better. And generally, people are pretty nice and understanding. And if you have a coach that isn't understanding, find a
Find a
different
different one.
coach. Cause yeah, that's no good.
But yeah, just remember to give yourself some grace with this.
Yes, definitely. Okay, next question. Should I ask a life question?
Yeah,
Should
might
we
as well.
throw that? Favorite movie?
My favorite movie is The Jerk with Steve Martin.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. Man, I feel like I hate this question sometimes because I don't really know.
I have a million favorite movies though, so
Gosh, yeah. I'm trying to think of like my most recent favorite. Um,
I also
gosh,
really love the new Top Gun a lot.
I
It was
haven't seen that
super
yet.
good.
I keep hearing it's good though. Um, favorite movie. Favorite movie. I really don't know. I don't watch movies anymore. Like some of my favorite movies growing up were like just like stupid shit that I used to like watch with my brother and stuff, like Anchorman and like all that like kind of stupid ass humor stuff. Because
Hmm.
there's just so many like dumb. Oh, let's go with Dumb and Dumber. I love Dumb and
That's
Dumber.
a good
Like
one.
it always makes me laugh. Always puts me in a better mood. So we'll go with that one.
Hell yeah.
Let's see.
Sorry, let me close the window.
Oh no, you're fine. I think
Dogs.
that wrapped up all of like the actual questions
All right, let
because
me see if I have any.
all the other ones are stupid. Like because I did it on the anonymous thing. You know how people can do the toggle button and they just send random questions, and most of them are just that from here on out.
I had have you had any surgery? And I think we've both had plenty.
Yes.
You more so, but uh, what's the stupidest thing you thought as a kid?
um, that Jesus was resurrected.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's funny. I don't know. I thought it was volleyball, not volleyball, for a long
Dude,
time,
I feel
for a
like I
really
used
long
to
of a
think that too.
time. So that was weird. I don't. I don't know anything else really. This one's kind of relevant. My lats are lagging big time. Any tips? So I've struggled really hard with getting lats. Um, but a couple things that help me is single arm pull downs and the straight bar pull down on cable, like pull over, I guess.
Yeah,
Those are
pretty
the
good
two
ones.
that I really like that have helped me the most because I think a lot of people struggle with lat growth because they have hard time engaging their actual lats.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's a kind of a strange muscle if you don't know where it like how to engage it, and um, it's really hard to work properly.
Yeah.
So I think first thing is to make sure you're actually engaging the muscle. Second thing
Hmm.
is find an exercise where you can perform correctly that allows you to feel the muscle as you're working it. So that mind muscle
Yeah.
connection. Do you have anything?
Yeah. Just that's one of the like biggest things people struggle with. Mind muscle connection is the lats. Like I
Yeah.
feel like more than anything, even if you're doing like a lat pull down, people somehow manage to just like arm the whole thing, and their back is like obviously you're activating it because
Some,
otherwise you're
yeah.
not moving your arms, but it's just not like as efficient, and you're not putting all the power in the back. It's more like you're using your biceps to just like struggle it down, you know. Um, I don't know if how true this is, but I have a theory that the reason why I was able to make the mind body connection with the lats is it's like I basically started in CrossFit and those goddamn kipping pull ups, man. You gotta use like when you come
Yeah.
down, you feel your lats stretch, and then you feel them contract as you pull yourself up. And I'm almost like, I swear to God, that's how I learned. But don't do it.
I think it's if you can get someone to poke your lat when you're doing a single arm pull down, that helps figure out the sensation. And once you feel that sensation, you can mimic it even when someone's not touching it.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion right
Yeah.
away. Um,
Yeah. Or even, it might sound weird. If you're not into bodybuilding, this probably isn't appealing, but if you do bodybuilding posing like lat spreads, or even like any sort of upper body bodybuilding posing, you really have to learn mind muscle connection. And it's very difficult. But when you get that mind muscle connection with posing, you start to learn how to make your muscles like move in a way and you're actually moving them how you're thinking. Then you've got that mind muscle connection and you can apply that to your exercises. And it sounds very strange, but it is actually beneficial to do posing even if you're not into bodybuilding.
yeah, just understanding how your muscles move and work.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was the best day of the year so far this year?
Mm. Hmm. You first.
I think mine was a couple I think it was 2 weeks ago. Actually, I had, well, okay. I need to say, just for purposes of it meant a lot, was when I quit my job, my corporate job, on my last day. I think that was one of the best days, just because it was like fully taking a chance on myself, which is something I don't often do. So I think that was probably one of the best days. But I think if I want to say the most fun day and like the most happy day that I've had, was a couple weekends ago on a Saturday. I got up early, went to the gym, crushed arms. Arms are almost always, are my last workout of the week. So did arms, which I love doing. And then we went to rugby, watched rugby, and my girlfriend wasn't playing this season, so we just watched, and I got to hear. So rugby is a very complicated game to understand if you have never watched it before. So most of the rules I've learned from like just watching it and trying to figure out the patterns. But anyway, so I could ask her all my questions as we were watching. And then we went to a social afterwards, and that was a lot of fun. And they always have Diet Coke and non-alcoholic beer on for me, so because I don't
Nice.
drink. So it's really cool. And then we went out, hung out with some other friends, and it was just like a really fun day of a lot of community, which I don't feel like I get as much of anymore after
Mhm.
COVID and after not drinking and stuff. So it was just a really
Yeah.
good day, I think.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you think of yours?
That's Yeah, honestly, I feel like it was like this week as well, pretty recent. It was, going to the concert with Dez, and like, so we always celebrate our like anniversary month to month, which happens to be the 22nd. So we got to go to the concert like for our anniversary, and it was just like a really chill, good concert. And then we celebrate with crumble cookies. So you can't really go wrong with like a concert and then crumble cookie. Yeah, it's just like a really perfect combo. So I would have to say that was probably, like my best day of the
Look at
year.
us. We're both glowing. We're glowing.
We're just so
We're
happy.
just so happy. Um, I think the
There's a lot
last
of good days ahead, though. I
hell
know
yeah,
that.
and the year is only what half a little bit further than half, but still.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because we are all going to the Olympia,
fuck
so
yeah,
that's
we
going to be
are.
some fun. We got
It's
a
gonna
lot
be
to
so
look
fun.
forward to.
It's gonna be great. All right, the last question I have from ours that is kind of relevant is favorite TV series right now.
Hmm. Hmm. Man, I feel like Stranger Things is always going to be my go-to. I know that's like, everybody loves Stranger Things, but I like really love Stranger Things.
Yeah, I like Stranger Things as well, but I have three favorite shows, and it's Bob's Burgers, Seinfeld, and it's a survival show, whatever I'm watching at the time. So right now
Nice.
it's Alone.
That's good. That's good. My other favorite is Handmaid's Tale, which is depressing as hell.
I haven't started the new
But
season yet. Have you started
it's
the new one?
I have only three episodes have been released so far, which that just got me excited for the next one. Hopefully next week. I But it's kind of a show that it's good, but it's very dark. But I love that shit. I've been told it's because I'm a Capricorn and I just like love dark shit. But I just like to feel things, I guess,
So
sometimes.
emo, Cody.
And
You're so emo.
I was, and well, I wasn't like eyeliner emo, but I definitely listened to some emo music,
Oh,
and
I did
I was
too.
a skateboarder. So, yeah. So Handmaid's Tale. I know it's hard for a lot of people to watch because it is very triggering and shit, but I just like to be triggered sometimes. But for a lighter note, I also do like Seinfeld a lot. It's like one of
Hell yeah.
those you fall asleep to. Oh, ER. That's one of my all-time favorite
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
comfort shows. I don't fucking know why, but I
Eh.
watch that basically every night right now.
That's awesome. I do think it's funny though because people make fun of me for liking Seinfeld so much because they're like literally every episode, like the whole conflict can always be would be fixed with a cell phone.
I know,
Every single
and
episode.
that's why I feel like they need to like redo it and come up with new world problems. There's so much new material because like
Fuck
it
'em.
could all be internet fights, like little like things that
Kramer
actually
would
happen.
definitely be a conspiracy theorist.
That's so true. That is so true. He would, and so would like Newman and George. Like I'm trying to think of how George would be. He would be like shameless selfies, but like no one actually, everyone would roll their eyes whenever he posted them.
And he would fall in love with like an MLM person, like a woman who sold like Herbalife or something.
Yes, or like Mary Kay.
Yeah. I do have to say though, did you watch Veep?
No.
Oh, you should. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is amazing in it. You should give it a shot. I bet you would like it. It's this
What's it
because it's
on?
her humor. Um,
Okay.
it's either Showtime or HBO.
Oh, okay. Those. I think I have Showtime, but I don't have HBO. I always fall into this trap. I need to switch.
I don't remember.
But
I'll look it up and I'll text you. But it is very. I think you would like it a lot because it's her humor to a T. It's so good.
that's awesome. That sounds like I need to check it out for sure.
And she's the vice
Um,
president.
Okay, like actual like vice. So it like
Yeah,
of the
so
country.
it's like it's what I actually picture Kamala Harris's life to be. Like she's so annoyed with the president and is just this old white man and she's like frustrated all the time. I don't
That's
know.
amazing.
It's a good
That's
one though.
definitely. I feel like she was inspired by that. I
Yeah,
feel.
absolutely. But yeah, it's really good. You'd like it.
Cool. I'll
But
check it out.
that's all of our questions, which actually filled our episode pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. So
Cool. All
guess we
right.
can
So
do
you want
that
to?
again.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again. So we'll do another Q&A if you all like this. Let us know. We should put up a little poll to see if people like this Q&A thing.
Yes, I will do that on Spotify to see. Oh yeah, Power Talk. Is that where we're headed?
Yeah,
Yes?
power
Okay.
talk.
Okay.
Cody's got our power talk for us today.
I got it. So this one stood out to me because it almost kind of ties into a little bit of the depression topic we were talking about. And I remember I did read this, when I was struggling, and I was like, you know what? That's actually a good idea. So it says, instead of feeling that you've blown the day and thinking, I'll get back on track tomorrow, try thinking of each day as a set of 4 quarters: morning, midday, afternoon, and evening. If you blow one quarter, you get back on track for the next quarter. Fail small, not big. And
that's a
I
good
just
idea.
thought that was really cool because, people fuck up at the beginning of the day and then they're like, whatever, I'm just throw it in the trash. I'll start new tomorrow. But why not start fresh like in an hour. You know, if you think of it in quarters, that's so true. You don't have to throw the whole day down the tube because you messed up for one meal or whatever. And that's kind of like with the depression talk, where it's like, make it good enough, you know, always look at the small wins and don't think, oh, I used to do this, so I'm failing, blah, blah, blah. And yeah,
I like that.
fail small.
Fail small, not big. Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that's a good one. All right. Till next time, y'all.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.